All right, the scene is set for Perth, and once more we're in Leon Harris's bookstore in the back room where he's currently having a meeting with Victor Creed. So, um, do you mind if I call you Victor?
No problem, my prince.
Okay, honestly, in public I'm okay with a little bit of standing on ceremony. In private, I like to be a little informal.
Okay.
So I know that Lavoisier promised you, or at least dangled the idea of a Primogen seat over you. But as it currently stands, the Gangrel do not have a seat on the council. And while I could probably say, hey, I'm making one, most of the Primogen would pretty much just resist it on principle. I may not be a weak prince, but I do have a strong Primogen council to deal with. However, what I'm going to be doing in the next couple days, I'll be meeting with each of the Primogen in person and saying, hey, I'd like to make a Primogen seat for the Gangrel. We've got enough in town. What you will want to do for that is actually, once I let you know, yeah, it's all okay, we've got an official Primogen seat, you'll want to have an official meeting with the other members of your clan to, and basically to get their support as Primogen. From a practical political point of view, you're the most viable person for Primogen, but if you can't get the support of your clan, you're not going to be able to pull that much off.
Yes.
So, I just said, figured I'd let you know what the current political situation was, so that you weren't suddenly surprised. If for some reason I run into strong opposition to giving a full Primogen seat to your clan, I can at the very least make certain you guys have an observer on the council. In that case, you wouldn't actually have a vote, but you would. But so long as you were polite to everyone else there, you could still you would still show up to all the Primogen council meetings, and you'd have a voice, if not a vote. And if we get that, probably in a couple months, well, a couple months to a year, depending, we could get you guys a seat on the Primogen Council.
I appreciate that Prince of the Perth is interested in the growth of the clan Gangrel. I'll also personally wants to thank you that you invited me to meeting with the Harbinger. It is something that most of the kindred would not.
Well, to be perfectly honest, beyond other things, before I became prince, you offered to be my bodyguard whenever I went out looking for interesting trouble. And I know you have, among other things, a real interest in the history of our kind, which honestly, even that made you an asset in just going out to meet with anyone, because that way you were more likely to have useful and pertinent knowledge, even if you didn't necessarily speak Latin. Which I'm really wishing they continued to teach Latin in school. No, I'm serious. Even my latest memory of being a human child, I remember at least having to take a year of Latin in high school.
I was never a good student, let's say.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't remember most of the Greek I learned in high school and college, but I learned it, and at one point I was actually somewhat competent. But yeah, especially going through medical school, you knew your Latin, and you at the very least could muddle through your Greek. And me, I picked up a half a dozen languages, and at some point I'll see if I can find someone to teach me Arabic. Although I suspect the Arabic that Fatah speaks is an older version than the one that is currently spoken.
Also, there is in Arabic is you don't read from the right, you read from
Yeah,
the
you read
left.
from the left, yes, in Hebrew and a couple other languages as well. I don't speak them, but I did. I had a few biblical scholars that were my friends. Also, the case in certain other languages. Um, Although Brage, I didn't really have a written version until they started realizing, hey, everyone else around us has written versions, so they just started adopting Latin letters.
Hmm.
But yeah, beyond that, I figured I'd also, see if you have any ideas for who might fit into what positions for the court. Not primogen positions, but positions such as Seneschal, Keeper of Elysium, Scourge, a couple other not always used positions, but useful ones. For instance, we might need a warden. Actually, no, we do need a warden. Uh, the fact that we have Nagaraja in town shows us that much.
Out of character, what is warden? I forget.
It's a position, it's a position that is basically usually found in a place with contested borders where they pretty much, go around the borders to make sure no one's getting in who shouldn't.
No, okay. I have met with um, not every kindred in the city, but like most of them. Well, it is such an unfortunate thing that a last person who just did a terrible mistake. I believe that she looks kinda okay, but what she did is unacceptable. Um, I was see the grasshoppers as looks like they are okay for RP positions, but they're really new.
That was my experience on dealing with two of them, although the I have no idea why it was I frightened the Tremere. Maybe she felt that she had embarrassed herself by suddenly running around like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. The other is a fledgling, and the other is not the one that you haven't seen is not the harpy material.
Hmm. Well, as
And
far
he
as
might be a scourge.
hmm, well, actually, at the moment, who I'm leaning towards for Scourge is Valiente of the Nosferatu. Because when it comes down to it, about the only thing he doesn't have that would be very useful as a Scourge is Auspex, and he has people who are willing to train him in that. Um, go ahead.
The Valiente is in the Lion's Mane, right?
Yes, but when it comes down to it, um, politically he actually is a very good choice. Among other things, he was one of the people who originally helped take the city back from the Anarchs. He's generally well considered, even if he's no longer the primogen of the Nosferatu, and he absolutely has the skills necessary other than Auspex.
Mm, when it comes to Seneschal, I was going to say actually the Rafat Dura, but if you just point him and point,
No,
well, nobody will know about the Scourge, but if you point him, it will be seen as you are you were
favoring
you were in the coterie,
my
the same
former.
coterie.
Yes. No. I think I will likely be suggesting Rafat for another position or two, but neither of the positions I'm suggesting for him will be. Uh, these are the sorts of positions that are honestly as much of a potential noose as they are an honor.
Rafat Dura actually he also has a trench.
Oh yeah, no, yes, Keeper of Elysium is one of the positions I'm considering him for.
I haven't seen Brua Primogen. He didn't talk that much, but well, Hannibal.
No, Hannibal, for political reasons, I'm most likely going to make him my seneschal. I do need to talk to him about one or two details, but to be perfectly honest, from a certain practical point, it isn't. It's not bad to have a seneschal that people are want to talk to less than the prince.
Okay. Out of character, actually, there isn't so many people who I can just say right now.
Yeah, I know.
Because like most of the people is dead.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. No, it's like it's like he's not asking for like name your top five for everyone. He's just like getting tossing. Yeah, no. When it comes down to it, most likely of the positions that really need filling, which are Keeper of Elysium, Seneschal, and Scourge, that's likely going to be Rafat as Keeper of Elysium, Valiente as Scourge, and Hannibal as Seneschal.
Yes, that's actually. Yeah, I can't find any other names in my mind actually.
Yeah. Well, once we have a few more people coming in, uh, personally, I'm hoping that we'll have at least one Bruja coming in that's politically inclined, because I know Creel doesn't actually want to be on the. He's skilled at the arts of politics, but he doesn't want to have to use them.
Um, what he's an interesting like what's his interest? Is he
Okay, when it comes down to it, we have two Bruja in the city, which are Creel and Istvan. I think I speak for everyone who knows the two of them when they say they'd much rather have Creel as the Bruja Primogen.
wow.
I mean, Istvan would actually not be worse than some Bruja Primogen I have seen, but no, I mean right now we part of the reason I actively want to give your clan a Primogen seat is right now we have more Gangrel than we have Bruja or than we have Ventru, both of whom hold the Primogen seat.
Oh, actually, James Pierce.
He's going to become the Malkavian Primogen.
Um,
Pretty much because
no
I
Malkavian,
shouldn't be holding it as Prince.
no Malkavians in the city.
Well, okay, we have two Malkavians in the city. One of them is the Prince.
The other is the Primogen.
Yes, but I am expecting a few more to start showing up.
Um, Mr. Leon,
Hmm.
you are a person who is interested in the cult, and you we have talked about the clans. The Do you know why the clan Gangrel has left the city, left the Camarilla?
I have heard a number of conflicting rumors. To be perfectly honest, most of the clan, they viewed the Camarilla as like, oh yes, it's at least a reasonable group of people. We're better off with them than with, say, the Sabbat. But most of your clan had no strong ties to us. When it came down to it, usually you'd have one or two gangrel in the city that had a very strong tie to that city and to the power structure there, and they pretty much spent a lot of their time representing the gangrel who were just wandering through. And for most of the gangrel, it would be along the lines of, "Oh, hey, yeah, I'm." It's like, "Oh, yeah, you're the prince. I should show up. I'm gonna be in town for a while. I think I killed some Sabbat on the way in. You might want to send someone to check it out. Uh, I'll probably be leaving in a couple weeks."
The I have a sire named Gordon Darkeye. You heard about him? Yeah,
Yes.
we talk about it. Have you heard the name Xavier and Karsh?
Um, Out of character should I have?
No, probably not. But
Okay.
the Karsh is the fifth generation Gangrel is warlord, and Xavier is the Gangrel Archon who has left the Camarilla.
It's like I've heard of Xavier, but not Karsh.
Xavier is the Archon who has left the Camarilla, and the Karsh is still staying at the Camarilla, and my sire is someone who is supporting him. He is very old.
Right.
The We have left the Camarilla, yes, but I was in this city like 100 years.
Hmm.
It's like 100 years, and I'm just not going to say that I want status or anything more, but just saying that you can rely on me. It's not just for status as a person too, when it comes to doing what you want to, because I want to see Perth Camarilla, and I know a I don't want to play political games with the other clans and being enemies with them. I just want to have what do I had in time, and then the best way that I get those is helping city grow.
Oh,
I know that.
and to be perfectly honest, the reputation of your clan has always been that of an apolitical one. Even when you were all, I mean, there. From one point of view, the Camarilla says yes, everyone is a member of the Camarilla, whether they want to be or not.
Yeah.
Uh, except, of course, for the Sabbat, obviously. But it's, and of course that's been the official on paper point of view, and the practical has always had to bow to whatever practical needs were there in any given city. But no, honestly, I think you probably would make a decent primogen, and
Thank you.
no, um, this is based off of dealing with you for a month, but that's about as much as I've dealt with half of the people in the city. Anyways, I mean,
Um. Also, I believe that we need harpies, right?
my point of view on harpies is this. Harpies are not appointed, they appoint themselves. The way you become a harpy is you act as a harpy, and then everyone goes, "Oh yeah, he's a harpy."
Is there any person like that in the city right now?
Not no one who's really distinguished themselves. There's just a couple people who could, if they started working on it, make themselves harpies, but again, no one that's distinguished themselves. One person who probably would make a very good harpy is Bagger, but right now he's more busy being the primogen.
How about Matt Dunham on the bench room?
Um, Possibly, but like I said, he'd have to step up and start acting like it.
Hmm.
Um, in fact, after the Primogen Council meeting, there are a couple of announcements I'm going to make. Uh, Among them, which is, basically it's like, hey, if you want to be Harpy, start acting like you're Harpy. If you do a good job, you get the job.
Yeah,
And then we'll see who steps up to the plate.
yeah, it happens. Probably someone will step up.
Most likely.
So I would like to talk about that the problem we have in the city, the
The
Nagaraj.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to take. We're going to, I'm. If one of them had said, had even gone along the lines of saying, "Oh, I hadn't realized there was a prince in town," I might let one or two of them live, but I'm not inclined to do so.
The they're they're mostly Sabbats,
Yes.
and even if you had them as a Camarilla, they are a huge risk to carry. Like even Nosferatu has problems, and like they are sometimes pain in the ass. But this Nagaraja is one of the kindred that is a problem all the time. They eat flesh.
Hmm.
I
I have. There are usually they're a rarity because, but there are a few within the Camarilla that have that weakness without being one of the Nagaraja that are allowed to live usually because they're also useful.
well, I would like to go. Sorry, I would like to go to the crematoriums to investigate, but well,
No, if you it's worse.
for kindred, there are 3 or 4 kindred which it can be dangerous. So let's like I'm let's probably a team would be better doing that job.
Actually, this is a good idea. What I would recommend is actually considering among other things, I also need to meet with the sheriff and let him know. Oh, hey, looks like we've got some Nagaraja in town, and we may have to clear them out. And then, if he goes, "What are the Nagaraja?" I'm like, as far as I can tell, they are flesh-eating necromancers that usually are with the Sabbat.
the
What is it with all the necromancers that are with the Sabbat? I mean, we've got most, but not all of the Harbingers are with the Sabbat. The Nagaraj are with the Sabbat. The Giovanni, fortunately, are unlikely to join the Sabbat because the Harbingers are there.
Yeah, but they are not Camarilla too.
There, as I understand it, the formation of the Camarilla, there were certain concessions made.
The When it comes to flesh eating, do we know their plan discipline by the way?
Their disciplines beyond the fact that they're necromancers.
Necromancers.
No, I don't know what other abilities they have. I don't even know what abilities. Oh, hang on one second. I'm actually getting. Sorry, I'm gonna have to pause a second because I'm actually getting a call. Sorry about that.
No
But
problem.
offer, yay!
The
Or potential job offer.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
so, yeah, back in character. Yeah,
Clan disciplines of the
I will talk
Giovanni.
to the sheriff, and I'll actually recommend. I'll mention your name as someone who's interested in helping with this, especially with you know. I'll let you toss the idea of looking into crematoriums to him. I'll simply say that you have a few good ideas.
The
That way, you can get some of the credit for the good ideas.
I'm just trying to remember the clans who had necromancy. It's can you roll 6 dice for me? No, no, 7 dice for me.
Sure.
Let's just say difficulty is 8 and it's going to be 7.
Yep.
Kindred lore.
Yep. Now, no fail.
6. Damn. Okay.
Let me roll for myself, and it will probably be difficulty 8 and stay 8. And I botch.
Gang rolls.
I'll probably like toss out one or two. It's like I've heard rumors of certain other bloodlines having it.
Malkavian.
But I'm beyond the Giovanni and obviously the Nagaraja and the Harbingers. I think I heard about a bloodline once called Kiesid. They might have been necromancers.
Um. Well, I don't know about the Nagaraja, but I don't know about Nagaraja and Harbingers, but I know the Giovanni has potence and dominate.
Yes. Um, yeah. Uh,
Potence is dangerous.
well, yes. Given that back when we were fighting for the city, 2 of the people in my coterie were from clans that had potence. Although one of them mostly forgoed it for using his sniper rifle, but in general, I try not to piss off the Nosferatu.
Yeah, they're become problematic, and if you piss one, the others will also aid the other one. So it's
Anyways, and he probably gets a little buzzing. He's like, I've got another meeting that I can't really reschedule, but
just
have this talk, and yeah, I will mention your name when I talk to the sheriff.
just wanted to talk about the necromancy, the
Do you want
harbinger.
to learn
Well, I don't know about that path. What can I do with that path?
it? I don't know either. Well, from the way he described it, it seemed to be, I don't know. I think it was one that has to do with dealing with ghosts because that really narrows it down. If we want to, we can ask in more detail what specific abilities it gives.
Are you
However,
interested?
what was that?
Are you interested?
Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to take it right away. There are many ways we can play this out.
Also, being blood bonded to that creature might be problematic.
A single step is actually not that big. It's just when it goes beyond a single step. You don't need
Well,
to be fully bloodbound to someone in order to learn their discipline.
I know that, but even being alone with that creature is problematic.
Well, I can understand that, but we will burn that bridge when we come to it. Anyways, I really do have to.
Okay,
So, but yeah. See you around, Victor.
he nods and like takes his jacket. Like you dismiss him and he will leave.
All right, and stop broadcast.